Don't be a scaredy cat, Part 4. Change your focus and trust again. Summary. Unlike a scaredy cat that shrinks back and hesitates due to a lack of trust, you can now pounce on your goals. This lesson is the last in this series on how to program your mind for success and simultaneously increase your internal trust levels. In Article 1, The Fine Art of Trusting, we learned of a lady named Luana, a smart, hardworking single mother who was not reaching her potential. Why not? She had hidden trust issues for both others and herself. You'll get an update on what finally happened to Luana at the end of this article. In the second article, We Succeed in Direct Correlation to How Much We Trust. We learned that traumas cause us to focus on negative, unconscious visuals. The third post was, fortunately or unfortunately, you get what you focus on. Here we were taught that whether it is positive or negative, the focus of our mind's unconscious eye automatically pushes us toward that outcome. In summary, we learned that hidden negative mental goals result in a lack of trust. And instead of protecting us, these focal magnets force the automatic realization of undesirable outcomes. What is the solution? The model you learn today is called the Refocusing Pattern, and it is a system you can apply on your own. This pattern works directly on the mind's hidden focus image. Changing the mind's focus is the simplest and quickest method that works almost every time. Well, how does changing your focus with this technique change your outcomes so effectively? We're not talking about an intellectual decision to change your focus. That usually doesn't stick. We want to change the emotional motivation. We want to change your unconscious intent, because this is where the true motivation is. Emotion fuels internal drive, and that's why even negative outcomes happen sooner or later, even when it's against our conscious choice. By using every step of this technique, an emotional shift happens because the human mind prefers to sample before it buys. Your mind doesn't demand to undo the past, but it does want you to be safe, first and foremost, and it is always looking for a better way. The method you're about to learn provides safety and the luxury of allowing your unconscious mind to try out a better outcome goal to have as its focus as a test. When the test proves that you are both safe and the outcome is better, then your mind happily adopts the new way of doing things automatically. In turn, this new subconscious mental approach creates restored trust so that old trauma becomes a non-issue. Here's the general sense of how the refocusing pattern works. First, you uncover the hidden negative focus image that's been causing you to get the less than ideal results. You allow yourself to see the mind's eye's image that you probably were never aware of before now. It may shock you to see what you're focusing on unconsciously. However, it's important to reveal this hidden target. Remember, a lack of trust in others or with yourself is what causes this negative visual focus. That's why it is such negative imagery. You then design a better replacement image for your mind to have as its focus. Next, you make an internal agreement with yourself to try out the new image for a short time to see if it is safe and if it works better. If it ends up working better, and it almost always does, the mind will automatically adopt it because it has a safe and trustworthy goal to reach now. Are you ready to learn the refocusing pattern? Here are all the steps of the process. The refocusing pattern. Step 1. The category. Be specific as to what context or category you want to improve. As an example, is it the amount of your income that you want to better? Or is it something more specific, perhaps one of your work habits, such as making telephone calls to prospective customers? Is the context centered around when you go to bed or wake up? Is it about drinking too much alcohol? Do you want to find a suitable romantic partner? Or is it about keeping the one you already have? The more exact you can be in defining what you are working on, the better. Step 2. The first question. When you have the topic specifically identified and clear in mind, ask yourself, what am I scared of? Step 3. The negative visual. It may seem counterintuitive to visualize a negative image, but pulling the monster out of the shadows is an important step of the process. Before you do this phase, remember, you want to do this step safely. If it's a traumatic image or memory from the past that pops out in front of you to see, be sure to distance yourself from the imagery quickly. Imagine it small, in black and white, and far away. Disassociate by seeing yourself in the visual. When you can see yourself in the image, you feel less intensity to what may be scaring you. Now, do this step. Sit up, good posture, look slightly upward where the ceiling meets the wall, blur your eyes. Allow yourself now to imagine what scary picture you just may be focusing on at a level of your consciousness you didn't realize before now. If you don't see anything scary, make something up. Step 4, the second question. Next, move the old negative picture or video aside and out of the way, and then ask, what is a better visual for me to focus on? Step 5, the beyond image. Design a more positive image of you after everything turns out well. This may be either a still image or a moving video. I call this a beyond image because you're looking beyond the time of success. Using this style of imagery and goal setting has two benefits. First, by designing a visual of what it looks like after you have accomplished the positive outcome that you want to attain, it provides a type of image that represents that you are now safe and that everything turned out well. The beyond imagery practice is not something commonly taught, even in the world of neurolinguistic programming. However, this style of visualization works effectively because of a second benefit it provides as well. If the mind focuses on an outcome that is beyond the goal you would like to achieve, then achieving that goal is just part of the process instead of the ending. This technique helps to eliminate getting too concerned about whether you accomplish the outcome or not. Step 6, the third question, a request. Once you have a beyond visual in mind, ask yourself, is it okay to try out moving toward this visual focus for 48 hours? We're not even saying we want this result in the absolute sense. We are just asking if we can navigate and move toward that direction. Some call this type of programming North Star goal setting. You may never get to the North Star, but you always know in what direction you are moving. This type of goal setting is much less stressful. It sets things up to happen safely and in a more automated way. Step 7, the agreement. When you sense it as a good visual focus to try on for 48 hours, your mind will be happy to do it for you unconsciously during the test period. After, because it proved to be safe and it worked better, Your psyche continues to pursue that outcome automatically. As a mini ritual, imagine shaking hands in agreement with this decision to try this new image as your mind's eyes focus for the next 48 hours. Do this by seeing another version of you eagerly shaking your hand. Step 8, the mini test. Now you want to test to see if your mind is doing what it agreed to. First, break state. Think of your phone number or your zip code and recite the numbers backward so that your mind resets. You can imagine cold water being thrown on you and shake it off so that you have a new state of mind for this mini test. Second, get your context or your category in mind again. What specifically did you just concentrate on as the theme to improve? Third, what do you think of first? If your mind very quickly sees the new beyond imagery that you just created, then you are set to go. If not, you may be experiencing a block. Now, when a block appears, simply shorten the length of the test time from 48 hours down to 24, or even as low as 12 hours, or even just 1 hour at a time, until your subconscious mind is sure it's safe to try out for that period. Step 9, the 48-hour test. Now just give it a couple of days, or however long your mind agreed to see how well this refocusing pattern process works for you. After this test period, your mind adopts the new focus automatically, and you continue to your goal inevitably. What you can expect. Surprisingly, it may be just that easy to reprogram your neurology. As long as there is internal agreement to focus on your new image on a trial basis, your mind will usually have no problem switching over to the much improved fixation. Luana, the lady mentioned at the outset of this series, used the refocusing pattern first for her business. Within the first 6 months, the business was profitable and was making reasonable enough income to meet her basic needs and give her self-respect back. She also used the strategy successfully for eating habits and her weight. But the most astonishing difference for her was what happened to her old habits of drinking alcohol. She now considers herself a non-drinker. She lost interest in drinking altogether. What's more, Luana says that for the first time, she now has a partner she feels she can trust. Can a simple visualization process do all of that for you? You may be surprised. Try it and see. It's time to stop being a scaredy cat. Use the refocusing pattern today. It won't take long for you to get the new outcomes you desire. When it doesn't work, if you need help with this, please feel free to reach out to me for assistance. Plus, there are additional intensive NLP processes that are available when you run into a block or want more clarity on the issues at hand or want better defined timeframes with deadlines. This post was the last of the 4 Don't Be a Scaredy Cat series. Thank you for listening. Note, if you want a cheat sheet, a quick little instructional in writing that you can follow to do this process, please look for the link below. I wish you the best of success, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.